Globalism has always been controversial because its outcomes are inconsistent. I'm Chris Clark, and this is BoardVision. I'm joined today by Dennis T. Whalen of KPMG and DJ Peterson of Longview Global Advisors. Dennis, let me start with you. Given the heightened situation around the world, both geopolitical and economic, is it time to push the pause button on globalism?
Well, I would say absolutely not. But that said, it is time to think differently. And historically, globalization, particularly for U.S. companies, was an economic-focused analysis looking at higher growth markets versus developed markets to get a balanced return and a growth rate. Today it's a little bit different, or maybe a lot different, because of the geopolitical angle. And so our view is you have to continue to think about the economics of markets because they are different. They are more volatile today than perhaps they were 3 years ago. But the lens that really needs to come into the conversation in the boardroom is around the geopolitical aspects of those individual markets and think about where are you gaining your return, what's the long-term strategy, and how does that all fit together.
DJ, let's take advantage of your knowledge and quite frankly, your network around the globe. I know you probably mostly agree with Dennis, but do you have some of your own insights on the subject?
As Dennis said, differentiation in the world is the key watchword. Some markets are doing better than others, and obviously for boards it's going to be very important for them to find the growth opportunities as well as manage the risks. So as we saw in 2014, Russia was a high risk market. But we've seen some interesting developments in Southeast Asia where that market is liberalizing and opening up. Great interest, I think, in India going forward, continued interest in Africa.
Dennis, let me come back from the informational insight part of this challenge to the control environment. How can that be enhanced or improved?
It can be enhanced by bringing the discussion to life. What we see happening more often than not when there is some kind of breakdown, it's because the resources that are on the ground doing the day-to-day work aren't perhaps as rich and robust and capable in some cases as you might like. And so it's how do you match the talent pool, the understanding of the organization, the culture of the organization, and most importantly, the organization's view of the importance of controls and culture and ethics and integrity. We see the breakdown when the resources on the field don't match with the investment strategy. And so I would tell directors to make sure you're putting your money, or the organization's putting their money where their mouth is. If China's the most important place, make sure you put the resources there early, put them often, and help them do their job.
I would add, questions that board members can be asking is who is leading our risk management function in those countries? Who's leading internal audit? Who is leading our anti-corruption efforts? Oftentimes you need somebody from the outside. It might not be the best strategy to have a local player, but have somebody from another country that can bring perhaps a different approach.
And in light of what DJ just said, leave our director audience with some sage advice on globalization.
You're never going to make Sao Paulo or Beijing like Cincinnati. And there's nothing wrong with Cincinnati, but you've got to be prepared to understand the organization and the markets you're operating in. So I think it's a matter of keeping the conversation front and center. I think it's a matter of making sure the board tells management in not only its words but its actions that it's important that we're engaged and we understand these markets. And I think engaged boards with engaged managements that understand the board's commitment and around tone at the top, I think will get the right outcome for most companies.
DJ, I know you agree with most of that, but maybe you can add some closing insights.
We're not in Cincinnati anymore, and for many boards who are used to working in, say, the North American context, it's really important to ask the right questions, watch for signposts, and think about difference in the world. Think about not only how are foreign markets different than the United States, but how they are different. I think one final issue for global companies is not just what's going on between, say, the United States and these foreign markets, but what are the interesting dynamics that are going on between emerging markets? What is China doing in Africa? What are the opportunities that it's pursuing in Southeast Asia that might not ever touch the American shores, but are very important for economic opportunity in the future?
If you'd like to learn more about globalism and embracing risk abroad, I encourage you to read NACD Directorship Magazine, go to our website, nacdonline.org, and read many of our reports. They are called Governance Challenges Report and the Blue Ribbon Commission reports, or go to the KPMG website and get a lot more, not only complementary material, but original material. I'm Chris Clark, and this is BoardVision.